Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. Today's guest is a trailblazer in both creativity and technology. From crafting stunning visuals for Cirque du Soleil and Marvel blockbusters like the Avengers and Iron Man 2, to leading marketing campaigns for global tech giants like Apple and Amazon, she's a master of storytelling and strategy and has pretty much seen it all in the marketing circus. But her greatest act yet? Founding HeyLevi, the groundbreaking prompt-free AI platform that's transforming how brands craft their messaging, and it helps new businesses establish their brand guidelines without needing any prior branding knowledge. With its fully white label offering, HeyLevi empowers high-level SaaS agencies to scale their businesses faster, stand out in competitive markets, and deliver exceptional value to their clients. All with less effort, by allowing customers to create their own brand and product playbooks and tailored content in minutes. So please welcome to the show, Ruheene Jaura from HeyLevi.
Thanks, Vid. I'm so happy to be here.
Great to have you here, Ruheene. You've done a lot. I have to ask, with such a diverse and impressive background, from visual effects and major films to pioneering in AI-driven marketing solutions, what's the one project or achievement that stands out as a turning point, a defining moment in your career?
And that would definitely be the creation of HeyLevi. So I don't think anyone's surprised by that answer, but yeah, it would definitely be HeyLevi. I mean, as you said, I've done so many different things across the span of my, I think now 16-year career. But it's really, it's pretty interesting how it all came together with HeyLevi.
Well, let's talk about it. Can you talk us through that journey? How do you actually move from, working for all those big giant companies and Cirque du Soleil and all that? It sounds pretty exciting already, movie industry. What what inspired you to transition into founding HeyLevi?
So, I've done, even more things than that, to be honest with you. I actually started out my career in not visual effects. Before visual effects, I did architecture.
Yeah, right.
And so, architecture for me was all about learning about spaces, about user experiences, understanding the story that users will have through their experience in a space, right? And I took that really into storytelling and movie making, and that's how I kind of got into visual effects. Visual effects, it was amazing because you get to work on all of these really high-end projects which really reach people around the world, and you're telling stories. But after 8 years of doing that, I did start to realize that I wanted to do more. I wanted to do something that actually helps people in some way. I want to make a difference. I want to help, people live better lives and get to their dreams. And that's really something that has always driven me through every piece of my career, and everything is really kind of added up one on top of the other, even though they seem really disjointed. And so from there, I actually started getting into advertising and marketing. So while I was at the company that I was working at for visual effects called Evil Eye Pictures in San Francisco, I was also at the same time getting loaned out in between projects to work at an advertising company called Entropic, also in San Francisco. And that's where I got to kind of lead and produce some of the advertising and launch campaigns for the Apple iPhone 5 in 2012, the Amazon Fire Phone, even Windows Vista, which was, of course, a horror story. But, just a whole bunch of different product launches. And so that was kind of my introduction into product marketing. And positioning and messaging and launch campaigns. And then from there, I got more into the digital marketing side of things. I did that as a freelancer for another 8 years, I think. I'm totally dating myself here. Should stop talking numbers. And then after all of that is when AI came out and I was in the HighLevel community, I started to notice that there are a lot of digital marketers and salespeople who are really, really good at what they do, coming into the HighLevel world with these special skills and talents, but now they were turning into SaaS companies, which has a lot of product marketing elements in it, but not really familiar with some of the product marketing best practices, like how to position and market yourself effectively, making sure that you're selling based on value and not price. So things like that. And I started to notice a pattern where people were struggling with that. And to me, it all really just came together. My background in user experience, storytelling, marketing, both product and digital, all of that coming together with OpenAI launching their, open API. And it just all came together with HeyLevi, where I saw an opportunity to really help people understand and more specifically GHL agencies understand their position in their market, and how to stand out based on value using AI.
And standing out in a market, one thing that's crucial to that is the ability to make a brand stand out. So you've done that well. Like you've done that for many businesses. Could you share like a few principles or strategies that you believe are crucial for achieving this?
Yeah, my favorite story to tell with that is, my experience working with Apple on the iPhone 5 launch. So, the short version of that whole thing was when Apple launched its phone, the iPhone 5 wasn't all that different from the 4S. It was like slightly bigger, like very slightly lighter. Like it really wasn't all that different, but
And
they
those were
knew that
like
they,
those small ones. I really like those. I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, before larger phones started to come into style again.
Yeah.
We went from big to small to big again. But yeah, so that was when the iPhone 5 was pretty small, and it was like literally just I have this written down, but anyway, so like half a centimeter or something like that smaller. It's funny. Anyway, so it barely had anything different from the 4S and the Samsung phone that was out at the same time, that was the competitor to the Apple iPhone 5. Had way more features, was a lot more robust and lighter and smaller, and had all of these different features that the Apple didn't have, the iPhone didn't have. But Apple did their work, right? They recognized that they are launching a product that is only going to appeal to one kind of person. So they took the time to really understand their positioning. And to me, it's one of the best stories I can tell of effectively not just brand positioning, but product positioning, the way they went about it. So as we know, Apple is the one brand that comes to mind when you think about building a strong brand. And so whenever Apple releases a product, some of them do well, some of them don't do well, but you'll see that Apple fans stick with the Apple system of things. They don't leave or try go to Samsung or something else just because Apple launched a dud, and that's happened quite a few times, right? They stick with it, and they'll give you their feedback and stick with it because they know there'll be a better product coming out because they believe in the brand, right? Whereas when Amazon or Microsoft tried to release something and it was a dud, people were like, "Oh my gosh, no, I need something else." Like there was no brand loyalty. So with Apple, when they launched the 5, they took the time to really understand their market, right? Like they asked themselves, who is going to care about this 5 model that we're launching, and why would they care about it? And it became really clear to see, it was really easy to see that the only people who were going to care about it are iPhone users, right? And the reason they would care about it is because they want the latest technology from Apple specifically. And so their tagline literally was the best thing to happen to the iPhone since the iPhone.
Nice.
That was their tagline. And they made $3 billion within the first 3 days of launching that phone.
That's unreal.
It's crazy. Yeah. And on the other hand, like when the Fire phone came out 2 years later by Amazon, it had all these features that people had never heard about. And Jeff Bezos in his launch statement, when he introduced the product, he talked about all of these cool things in that one sentence. But he didn't quite identify who would care about those things. Like who would care that I can, look at something and immediately find that product on Amazon? Like nobody was walking around saying, I really wish I could buy more stuff on Amazon. Right? It
Sounds
wasn't
like he built it for his own needs and not around the customer.
exactly.
Even though you could argue, yeah, no, we build it for the customer because they can use it to find our products, but like maybe it's just not the right way to look at it.
Exactly. And now keep in mind, I'm comparing two big tech giants, and they're both extremely successful. I don't think anyone would deny that if you had the opportunity to be the next Amazon, you're not going to turn that down. So obviously, they've done things right, but they are very product led, which means that they succeed with their successful products and they don't succeed. Like when they release a dud like the Fire phone, it's a real dud and people will not give it a second chance. Whereas Apple has also released a bunch of duds along the way, but people don't remember those. because their loyalty is towards the brand. There's such a strong brand loyalty that Amazon has not had.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, there's many reasons why, right? There's attributions to Steve Jobs, and people still remember how he would, be pitching the products on the stage, and how that still to this day, it's like a bit of a blueprint on how new product
Yeah,
launches should be like pitched. It's you can actually now see it. A lot of other companies are doing it very like a
kind of do it.
similar way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, so yeah, they've done well, but you've also done well with HeyLevi. So let's talk about that, because we have lots of high levelers, lots of SaaSpreneurs listening, and I think this is super relevant. I've got a whole bunch of questions, so feel free to, chunk it down. Don't tell me the whole story. um, I'll follow up with you on a few questions. But the first question I've got with you on this is that for like what advice? Actually, no. Let's do it again. So can you unpack it? Just like give us or the guys listening, because I know what HeyLevi is all about, but for the guys listening, can you just give it like a little quick elevator pitch, and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, yeah. So we were just talking about the importance of brand loyalty, right? Even if you're not launching phones, the idea is when you build a brand loyalty, you have customers that stick. And and being in the SaaS world, we all are aware of one of the biggest pain points, always being churn, right? We've had the same struggles as everybody else with HeyLevi. We've had to deal with churn, and it was really about coming back to our brand. Like, how do we build a stronger brand? For anyone that knew us in the early days, we actually launched in October 2022 for the first time, and we were called iGen at the time, AIGEN. We weren't HeyLevi. And so iGen, I mean, honestly, it was for lack of a more creative term, it was AI generator. And we were just like, iGen, let's go with that.
Mm.
And so we were really product focused at the time, really trying to understand what kind of product we wanted to build. Which was great. We had some early, traction. We got some early customers, and all great things. But we weren't focusing on our brand, which is one mistake that I think we made early on. A year later, when we pivoted and we knew that we had to relaunch the product in a way that builds a strong brand identity, and starting with the brand first all the time, we actually had HeyLevi because to your question of what does HeyLevi do? HeyLevi is a positioning and messaging app. It also does content, but it really helps you understand your position in the market, your customer avatars, and product market fit for every offer that you put out there. So we actually had HeyLevi reposition itself. We had it identify its best customers. We had it identify its own unique value propositions, and we had it identify its unique positioning in the market that we were trying to win in. And the result of that was a quadrupling of our total revenue within the first quarter. So for anyone that's not convinced that a brand first approach works, it absolutely does. I can tell you through all of my years of experience working with big and small products. And that's something that HeyLevi helps you do.
So that's really cool. So you had the tool, the product that you've developed to create and brand itself. So did that name HeyLevi came out of it itself, or what's the story behind the name?
I knew you were going to ask me that. No, so just the name itself was not produced by HeyLevi. We're actually, to that point, we are adding in a product namer in there. But no, so the name itself was just because we were so focused on the high level community. Like, our goal was really to help high level agencies succeed. And so quite honestly, we just wanted it to, immediately tell somebody that A, it's AI. B, it's going to help you do the things that you would normally hire a really big team for. And third, we just wanted it to go with HighLevel. And so, there wasn't much more to it. We wanted a name, we wanted a character that we're currently building out called Levi. And so it just turned into HeyLevi.
Okay. And it kind of HighLevel, HeyLevi, yeah, it kind of works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Can you share like a success story or a particular case study where HeyLevi has dramatically transformed a HighLevel agency's client's business?
I will say, don't have permission to speak about any specific agencies.
Mm-hmm.
But again, our case study is what HeyLevi did for itself, and the fact that it was, able to quadruple our revenue within a quarter. I think that speaks really highly of how you can take any product, any agency, any brand, and really pivot it to be brand first. And that's really important. And then your products and how you position and message, build a messaging strategy for any product or offer that you launch thereafter really needs to tie in with the brand. That being said, we have over, I want to say, almost 350 agencies, high-level agencies currently using the product. I think it's much more now, but a few months ago, it was over 20,000 sub-accounts. So it's much more now. I don't have the most accurate number on that. I should have looked that up. But yeah. So we have quite a few agencies and sub-accounts on HeyLevi right now.
Yeah, that's very impressive. And look, from me as a user, I can definitely say like it's a miles different to like I've got my own, I create my own agents, right, in my ChatGPT, and I, train them up and then I use them for things. But what I like about what you've done is that you've made that journey of generating an output a lot easier because you don't have to try and figure out the prompting. That's kind of like the biggest point of leverage, I would say. It's like prompting takes time. Sometimes prompting doesn't. Sometimes even like ChatGPT goes a bit weird, even though I've been using this agent for a while and now suddenly it stops working for some weird reason. But yeah, what I definitely like is that the ability that you just fill in the blanks and it creates an output. But what the output is, and there's so many different outputs, but the main and the most important is what you said is the brand playbook, right? So can we talk about like how impactful this is? Because some might be listening like, yeah, cool brand playbook, but like, I mean, we know, I know, like for some smaller businesses, trying to pay a branding company is like they cannot afford it, right?
Yeah. We've had multiple agencies at this point, tell us that they have gone through $25,000 to $30,000 worth of courses and training and certification programs, workshops that span over weeks on understanding your unique value proposition, both at a brand level, at a product level. I mean, there's different workshops out there. We've had agencies tell us that their customers have been telling them that they have paid in the past for what HeyLevi gives you in just a couple of minutes and for free. They've paid over $20,000 to marketing agencies to create like brand guides and brand playbooks. And those brand guides are usually even more focused on colors and fonts and things like that, and not so much on the actual value in your brand, which is the customer and your understanding of the customer, right? What is your brand's positioning? What is your customer's journey and their story with you? And how does your brand fit into their story? And it's really important to understand that when you're growing a brand, when you're launching offers, when you're having conversations with your customers, because if you understand their story first and before anything else, talking to them doesn't feel like you're pushing them into something. It doesn't feel like salesy or icky or uncomfortable or anything, right? Because you understand them on this deep level, like you're talking to a friend, you know what they need and you know how to present it in a way that's going to resonate with them. But that only comes from a very keen understanding of your customer. So at HeyLevi, we're like really obsessed with customer avatars and really helping agencies and their sub accounts and their customers really, really hone in on their customer avatars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. And then once you can have that fully established and have that playbook, I mean, not only, and we talk about it, not only it's a great like foot in the door offer, we'll talk about offers, but you got that consistency. Like, I think what I like about it is that for me as a SaaS, SaaS business running on HighLevel, is that if I'm dealing with like a smaller businesses and they cannot afford these things, I'll not have an ability to say, hey, just I could upsell it or just give it to me as a free thing, whatever. But like, hey, it's super easy. Let's jump on a webinar. We'll do a workshop together, everybody together, and you'll have your own brand guideline in an hour of this workshop. You'll have it ready. You'll have full clarity on what how to position your business.
Yeah, I will say that branding workshops, I think, are an untapped gold mine. For any agency looking for a quick way to win. It doesn't apply to every industry, but most industries, I would say, depending on the industry and the niche that you're in, Branding workshops are something that people will pay a lot of money for, right? Like they are paying tens of thousands of dollars to get this done from marketing agencies or attend training and get certified. And now it becomes really easy to run these kind of branding workshops, even if you've never done branding before, simply by using HeyLevi and empowering your customers with these tools and walking them through a brand playbook creation process. That's really all you need to establish yourself as a branding expert.
Yeah, I've just put it down in my list. Actually, I'm a big fan of the shortcut, like webinar shortcut method. So you do a webinar about a problem and you cover the solution, but you just talk about like the solution, like how, the principles and like yada yada, and then at the end say, hey, by the way, there's also a shortcut way. Well, everything you just learned today, it's very applicable and you can take it away, and that's valuable. But here is the shortcut. We've actually got a solution that you can do, and you could even do
Exactly.
like, hey, and so if you guys want, we're going to be running a paid workshop that will introduce you to the solution. You get access to the solution for 30 days, but also on the workshop, you get to build your own thing. So many ways to skin the cat, isn't it?
So many ways. And I will say, if you are already doing workshops, whether they're for branding or not, if you're doing webinars, you can now actually just take your transcript of the entire workshop. If you talk about like value and the things that you offer, you can actually just upload that now to your brand playbook, and it'll create your entire brand narrative and playbook based on that document. So we've had, in the coaching industry specifically, we've had agencies ask for the ability to do that. So because they're already running webinars. And on the flip side, if you aren't running webinars yet, or you are, and you know how much time it takes, you can actually use HeyLevi to create all of your webinar or multi-day challenge content for you, including social media posts, emails, all of it.
Yes, that
A lot of
was
power in there. Anyway, that's a little bit of a digression, but you talk about webinars and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
100%. Yeah. So let's just sort of unpack it from a customer journey perspective, and so that the guys that are listening can like get the full picture. So when they open up their HeyLevi accounts, what happens first?
Well, the first thing that it will prompt you to do is create a brand playbook, right? Everything emanates from that core understanding of your brand, of your customer avatar at a brand level. This actually causes confusion with a lot of folks. So let me just take a quick minute to kind of explain what a customer avatar at a brand level is
Yeah.
versus a customer avatar at a product level, right? At a brand level, it's really anybody who would be interested in learning more about your brand. I've had a lot of folks ask, like, what that could be like multiple people. And if you really think about it, those multiple people are really looking for multiple solutions, which is why you have different customer avatars at a product level, right? You build offers and solutions for all of these different customer avatars and their needs. But at a brand level, if you find yourself having more than one brand customer avatar, I would really urge you to take a look at how you're presenting yourself and your brand, because your brand level is really about that one core thing that you solve, and who that's for, and then how you solve it could be in all these different formats. Um,
So
yeah, go
kind of
ahead.
like, if you got different subsets, let's bring it back to Apple, right? Let's say different avatars. So you might have, tech savvy business owners who want the MacBook Pros, the top of the line, super like powerful devices. But then you might have, iPods. I don't think they sell the iPods anymore, but you got the iPads and like
I
for,
wish
for
they did.
fun stuff. And so you got those, and so there's two separate segments, right? So what you're saying is you need to have a product playbook for each, but
Yes.
then you've got your main brand playbook, which is like a thing that should unite all the segments together.
Yes, exactly. It's that one really. I want to mention one thing that I was talking to my social media manager yesterday, and she said something that really, really hit home for me. Um, she said that when you are thinking about your customer avatar, you want to really niche down. You know how there's all this talk all the time about, do you niche up, do you niche down, how much do you niche down, all of these things. And so she hit the nail on the head, if you ask me. But she said you want to niche down not on your customer avatar, you want to niche down on the problem that you solve, because your customer avatars and everything else starts to fall into place when you really niche down on the problem that you solve. So when you identify the one thing that you're trying to do from your brand's perspective, not from all the different things that you offer, but as a brand, what do you stand for? What are you trying to change in your niche, in your industry, in the world? And with Apple, they were trying to, and they are, their whole thing is trying to make tech feel like an extension of yourself. That's it. That's the one thing that they do well, right? So at the brand level, that is their unique value proposition. That tells them exactly who their brand level customer avatar is, what kind of person would walk into an Apple store. And then the product that they buy inside that Apple store really comes down to understanding their specific needs, their wants, their goals, their pain points. And then you kind of hone in on the strategy for selling each of those products differently. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I must say, I'm an avid Apple fan. I've been an Apple fan since 2010, and there's something to say about that, because like I've just bought my new MacBook Pro just before Christmas, and I was gonna buy the Mac Mini, the latest Mac Mini, and I bought it. But then I realized, you gotta have too many connectors, and I actually need something that I can unplug and go and have meetings. So I was in store and I was looking for this dongle thing, and then this lady was like, "Hey, what are you here for?" I just came here with my Mac Mini because I just needed to do some little repair on it. But I'm also looking at this docking station, and she was an employee of the store, right? And she says, "What's the docking station?"
Oh
Okay, well,
no.
let me educate you. So it's this thing called brand name's called CalDigit. So it's a thing that you plug in everything, your monitors, all your devices. You get like 18 cables plugged into that one thing, and then all you then do is just plug one cable from the unit into a computer, and the moment you plug that in, everything else is plugged in. And so that was my initial idea, like have that for Mac Mini. But then, like as I was talking to her, and like and she was asking me, "And so what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, well, I run a software company. I've got my home office set up, work from home, but I also do meetings. I talk to businesses." And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, damn it, like I will actually end up needing MacBook like my MacBook Pro anyway. Like I need something portable. In my head, it's like I'm gonna get that later. But then but then she goes, well, like it's pretty powerful. You should do that because you could use it as a desktop as well. I'm like, you know what? You're totally right. So I actually went, and I've been eyeing the MacBook Pro for like a good few months, and I was looking at the top of the line thing, fully specced out, so that I've got the performance to do what I need. And yeah, like in that 10 minutes conversation with her, she didn't even know it, but she upsold me onto 6.5 grand Apple computer, and so I just get a refund on that one, and like, wow, the rest is history. But yeah, it's
You know
amazing.
what I think is the most amazing part of that story, though, is specifically how that ties back into Apple being a strong brand, right? It comes back to your customer avatar at the brand level. When you understand that Apple customers at the brand level are people who are looking for technology that's an extension of themselves. Now, what she did was exactly in line with that. Even though she didn't know what you were looking for, she asked you for your story. That's important to note, right? What do you do? How are you going to use these things? And then it was easy for her to upsell you smoothly into the rest of everything that you need
Yeah, yeah,
because of that one core need, right? Everything else is more like a product level need, but because of that one core need, it's really easy to see the upsell path there.
yeah. And now my affinity to the brand is even stronger because like it's so amazing, by the way. Like I'm just really geeking out on this. Like I've got my MacBook Pro here and it's closed, and I literally just plug one cable, and that one cable not only charges the computer, but also sends all the data from all the other peripherals. So whenever somebody calls me like, "Hey, can you have a meeting with me for coffee in person, local business?" All I do is just unplug and go. It's like
Nice.
so cool.
I know. It's beautiful when technology comes together and works literally as an extension of you and like in one unit. It's a beautiful thing.
100%. On the topic of HeyLevi, let's just continue on HeyLevi. So, it's described as like the world's first prompt-free AI app. Although one might argue, well, it's Jasper's been before, whatever. But could you explain what that means for those who might not be familiar with AI technology and its implications in marketing?
Yeah, with Jasper, also keep in mind that you do have to prompt it a little bit, right? It has some built in knowledge of what you would want. But for example, it still needs you to tell it exactly what you're looking for. So, what a prompt free experience, on the other hand, is something where you don't have to think about what you're asking for.
Right.
You just have to tell it about your business, tell it about what you know about your customer avatar, tell it what you are thinking about launching. What is your product? What is your service? What is your offer? And the AI will take it upon itself to build out everything else for you, right? So you're not having to prompt it. It already knows this is what I need. So you fill out a form. It's all form based. It gets the information it needs from you. So you're not having to think like, oh, do I need to say this? Or ask ChatGPT, hey, ask me the questions you need to ask me in order to give me an answer. And that's a myth, by the way, that works really well. And we can talk
What
about
was
that
that?
too.
Can you say that again? What's a
That's
myth?
a bit of a myth, that the best way to get the best output from ChatGPT is to ask it to ask you questions.
Ah,
There's an interesting story about that I'm happy to share. But basically, to answer your question about what a prompt-free experience is you not having to guess what the AI needs from you in order to create the output that you're looking for. Because when it already has learned about your brand, it already knows about your customer avatars, it already understands your market positioning and your customer's journey with you and all the different products and services you offer, then telling it, hey, write me an email campaign or an email nurture sequence for 14 days, or whatever, it becomes really easy for it to know exactly what you're looking for and how to bring your brand personality into it and write it like you would on your best day.
yeah, yeah. And here's why I think is a super powerful guy for you guys listening. By the way, is that this completely lowers the barrier to entry for your some of the like maybe less technical, less skilled business owners who some people just want to run their business and they like, don't deal with this marketing, it's just too techy. Well, now this is completely like the scale has shifted. It's so much easier because, as I say, you don't need to learn about any prompting. You just follow the blanks, follow the questions, answer the questions, and you'll get an output. But the other really important thing that I think we've skipped past it, which is probably the most powerful. Actually, you've covered it a little bit, but so when you create the brand playbook, that's where you start, right? And on the back of that, you then create your product playbooks for different avatars. But
Yep.
the main thing of all this is that you kind of do it once. You can come back to it and you can tweak it, but the idea is that you do it once and you do it well, and then that's your kind of a foundation for everything that you then need to generate like on your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month marketing campaign needs basis. Can you
Exactly.
unpack all the like the categories, or like what are all the different things that you can then do to generate what things you can generate?
Well, the first thing is, yes, you do it once and then you create everything from there, but also keep in mind that you do it once every time your market is, until your market changes. And that's
Right.
depending on which niche you're in, it changes, right? If you're in the AI space, you know that it's changing every day. And so you really want to keep that in mind when you create these playbooks, because it's really important to come in and retest things and update things. We all know that an offer that's working well today may not work next week or may not work as well next month. And it's really understanding when the needs of your market shifts to come into your playbooks and kind of re-strategize that part of the offer again. In terms of all the different kinds of content you can create from there, it's really marketing and sales focused, and business strategy focused. So what I mean by that is marketing, you can create your ongoing copy, right? Like your ongoing content, including images, and copy for things like social media posts, email campaigns. If you're running webinars, you can create entire webinar scripts and follow-up emails, and registration page. Or if you have a lead magnet, get your entire lead magnet written out. I mean, all the different use cases. If you're running life challenges, I know I mentioned this earlier, but that's one of my personal favorites right now, is it will create the entire outline and content ideas. It will help you create a framework if you don't already have a framework that you want to present and teach at your multi-day challenge. It'll create the social media posts that you need to post and keep pinned in your group. And then all the emails that go with it, which are invitation emails, confirmation emails, reminder emails, and then post-event follow-up emails, right, where you actually close the client or close the prospect. So really all these different marketing use cases, I mean, it does all of that for you. On a sales side, it will write your sales pages. It will help you create sales-oriented nurture sequences. So when a lead is still warm, you want to present them with more sales language than if they've cooled down for a while, and to reignite them and build that relationship with them. You want to start off easy. You don't want to just suddenly start sending them all about your offers and sales stuff, right? So it understands all of that and creates content based on that. And from a business strategy point of view, it really comes up with, MBA level business plans and blueprints for if you're really launching a new business and you are trying to figure out where to take it. It will give you a blueprint for that. It will help you audit your offers and help you, do a comparator analysis to see where you are winning, where your competitor is winning, and what you can do to close that gap.
Yeah.
So a lot of different use cases. Yeah.
I like it. It's very, very powerful. Now let's this straight away I've got product related questions when it comes to scalability and SaaS, right? So if you got a new customer, you want to help them as soon as possible, right? There's this honeymoon period at the beginning when they're like really excited, so you want to get them some wins. And while it's already as easy as it is, but what I'm thinking is, do you guys have? So I've got like snapshots, right? So customers sign up, yes, subscription, but the value is in the in a like stuff that we pre-built for them and how we implement it for them. We have this thing called the profit roadmap method. So you've got different modules. It's basically like all the different marketing elements that a business would need, marketing and sales elements the business would need, from reputation campaigns, referrals, customer lifetime, like value increasing campaigns, things like that. And we put them all into a separate snapshots, and we call it a profit roadmap. So it's like modular, right? So because it's like snapshot and we kind of know how much it takes to fulfill on each, we've productized it. So we have a fixed figure. I'm like, hey, you just pay us this and we'll install it and we'll set it up for you. But what I'm thinking is, that during the setup, that means we still have to go in and like manually type in the copy or insert a copy. Do you have, maybe you have it on your roadmap, I don't know, where when you use HeyLevi to generate the output, that you can then directly plug into, let's say, a custom value in HighLevel?
Yeah. So we have something called integration profiles, where at the agency level, you can decide which pieces of outputs from specific modules integrate with which specific custom values in your GHL account. So you set that at an agency level, and then if you have sub accounts, they can add on to them, but they can't override what you set at the agency level. But yes, there's definitely a way to push content from HeyLevi straight into your custom values.
How do you deal with the, and this, sorry, I'm just a bit technical and nerdy on this stuff, but I know that, you could put stuff in a custom value, but it just chunks it all together. It doesn't format the text into paragraphs and stuff. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So we've tested it, and all the formatting and the paragraph breaks, and the line breaks really, and the spaces between the paragraphs, those all get retained. But for that reason also, because we understand that your headline will need a different format than, the paragraph text, we have used different custom values. So the idea is like, if let's say you're doing this for a sales page, right? Like you were in your snapshot, you probably have templates, and on like a sales page or a landing page, as long as you have like the headline separated from the paragraph text, and then the next headline separated. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So each element would have its own custom value. So you can set the formatting at that level. It'll still apply. But the line breaks come in beautifully. So yeah.
Oh, the line breaks come in beautifully into custom values?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. I didn't know that. Yeah, it must be. Yeah. Wow, that's excellent. Great. Well, which brings me, it's just a good segue into relevance to SaaS agencies on a product side of things. You obviously sell HeyLevi as like for businesses, but you also sell it to agencies to be able to offer it to businesses, and there's a couple of models there as well. But you sell it as a white label solution, which is really, really powerful. Can you talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, so the white label version really gives you a lot of customizability. Did I say that word right? I feel like I should not. I always trip over that word. But yes, you can customize it really and dial in a lot of different things, including like the color and the layout and how you want to, how you want it to look and fit into your GHL so it all looks seamless. But also if you want different feature tiers. You can have different feature tiers for maybe different customers, right? Depending on which GHL plan they're on with you, or if you want to just sell it separately or as a foot in the door offer. As you said, every business needs content. And as much as, we've structured HeyLevi to really be a sales and strategy app, it's turned into a content app because it's much easier to understand. And I think there's a lesson in that. So as an agency, it's really easy to sell content because that's the one thing that immediately makes sense, right? And so you can white label it, come up with a tier that makes the most sense and resonates with your customer avatar, your niche. And it's a really great foot in the door offer to get them into your high level. And then you can upsell them into the rest of your GHL features, including other HeyLevi, more advanced HeyLevi features. So yeah, a lot of different power, different kinds of power in how you can white label HeyLevi inside of GHL.
So for all of you brand aficionados, you want to have your own brand product upsell, that's perfect solution. One question I have is with the content creation, because HighLevel has native built-in solutions, right? You can create content directly on funnels, on social media planner and whatnot, which is from perspective of like user experience, it's always like much easier because it's already there. But the downside of it is never going to work on the back of any sort of a preset brand playbook or anything like that. How do you deal with that sort of a, if customers like, it's just like the confusion that might be there by the underlying SaaS customers, like, oh, it's already there, so what is this kind of thing? Like, why would I need that? Or what would you say?
I mean, I would say, first of all, it depends on how you're presenting it to your customers. If you like prompting, you have your own prompts that you're selling. I mean, even then, HeyLevi is probably a better solution. But the idea is with content AI inside of HighLevel, it's no secret that is probably the one product within HighLevel that they have paid the least attention to. In all honesty, we've talked to HighLevel themselves, and this is what they told us, right? It's just an API on top, like it's just a UI on top of the API for OpenAI. That's all it is. And so it's not learning from your content. So it's not even doing what ChatGPT does, and it needs you to prompt it. So again, it comes back to you understanding how to structure a prompt, what kind of context that prompt needs, guessing what the AI actually needs from you in order to produce what you need it to. And then, of course, like you mentioned, it has no context on your brand or your offers or who you are or what you do or what makes you different from everybody else. So none of that is factored into the content that it does produce after you've gone through the trouble of creating a prompt. So again, depending on how you're selling AI, if you're an AI expert yourself and you're structuring all these prompts and you're actually teaching people how to prompt, and it's, then maybe the seamless experience is for you. But we have a lot of agencies currently in very specific niches where they upload their custom prompts to HeyLevi and offer it as a part of the rest of HeyLevi. And so, you're not giving away your prompts that way. So your customers come in and they can go through what we call the wizard, where they just answer the questions that you've already asked in the prompt. They just answer those questions as like a form instead of a GPT where you're going back and forth answering things. And then it creates whatever, it runs your prompt on the back end. It doesn't show that to your customers. It runs your prompt, gives them the output, and then takes them into a chat flow where they can go back and forth if they need to.
So yeah, so you could get your customers on like your on your HighLevel subscription, and you could totally educate them about like how they can create their own content inside funnels and everything, which is super convenient. But you could then go back to them like a week later or whatever and say, hey, by the way, if you want to make that experience even easier and a bit more like dialed in, we have this. And so that's how you could position it as well. Yeah. Okay, so a couple of different models that the guys can like get the ideas on, and also I'd like your feedback on what you found working well. Is it like good to package it in directly into the SaaS plans on T's, or is it better to do it as a separate upsell? Because each comes with its own drawbacks, right? Like, for example, I know that if I've got 3 plans and then I'm going to package in HeyLevi or whatever the name of my own white label is going to be, if I package that into plan number 3, and then I have a customer who signs up on plan number 3, but then they downgrade to a lower plan that doesn't have that included, it comes with its own, like, now I have to, yeah. Can you break it down a little bit?
I will say that we have folks doing it in different ways. We have agencies that are running it as done for you, where they actually hide HeyLevi from their customers and charge thousands of dollars to basically do what marketing agencies are doing. And it's a great strategy if you are creating content for your clients. It's a great way to use HeyLevi to create all the content from them, create their entire brand playbook. You can download PDFs and share only the pieces that you want to share with them, and then use those to create their content. And they don't know what tool you're using at that point. Agents, I'm sorry, I don't know why I have so many notifications going on right now. Hopefully you can cut that out. But we have agencies that are doing it as a do-it-yourself, right? So they just have, like I said, feature tiers, as you mentioned. The most successful agencies using the DIY method, the do-it-yourself method, I will say are the ones that are offering all of HeyLevi. They're not overcomplicating it with different feature tiers. We give you the ability to do that, again, because we want it to work with the way you've structured your offers. But so far from what we've heard from our agencies, the ones that have had the most success that we are aware of, not everyone talks to us after signing up. They use it. We see their usage. We don't hear from them, which is great in a way. But we also have agencies that kind of give us feedback on what's working and what's not working. And so the DIY folks are finding more success from what we've heard with offering an all or nothing with HeyLevi instead of trying to divide it up into different tiers to match their high-level plans, for example. So now there's in that too, there's so many different ways you can do it. Like I said, you can do it as a foot in the door offer where you only sell that. They come in and then you upsell them to the rest of HighLevel. We have an agency who is Charles Higgins. Actually, you're probably familiar with him. He has a package where he only sells the social media module along with the playbooks, but the social media module in HeyLevi along with the social media scheduler in HighLevel, that's his offer. And that works great for him. Last I heard, he was offering it at $97 a month. I don't know if that's changed. That was a few months ago now. But he was having great success with that from what we've heard. But I think for a lot of agencies that have kind of reported back to us after trying a few different models, we're being told that the done with you model right now is the most successful, where they actually have the client book a call with them. And as some of them do it as a part of the onboarding process, so it's all included. Again, comes down to your pricing for your high-level tiers. But some of them will just include it in their onboarding, and some of them will say, hey, we will get you set up with your entire brand and product and offer assets for a fee, right? It's a one-time fee. But no matter how you structure that, depending on your audience and on your offers, agencies are finding a lot of success with walking them through the creation of those initial playbooks, because that really is the secret sauce behind whether HeyLevi is going to give you something super successful or not. So they will walk them through that part. And then they say, okay, now whenever you need content every day, every week, every month, you come in here and you just create your own content.
Yeah. You could also make it like a flywheel, right? You could have, hey, you could do it yourself and just follow, we have a quick course, or you could do it with us. We're going to be doing this branding workshop and you can do it with us.
Exactly.
And then, or you could say, hey, or we could do it fully for you and set it all up for you. And then once it's set up, like maybe we can set up the brand and the brand playbook and product playbook, and then you can use it for, to do stuff for yourself. Many different options, upsell, downsells, whatever, right?
Yes, and with that also we also have white label videos inside the app. For every feature there's a little 3 to 5 minute video on. Some of them are really short, even a minute. Most of them are about 3 to 5 minutes, showing you how to use each feature in the app. So we really want this to be as hands off for agencies who don't want to take a lot of time with the onboarding and the selling, and we're actually restructuring our entire onboarding process so it's equally easy to offer this to your clients, even if you want to do the completely hands off DIY way and you don't want to do the done with you way. But yeah, as of today, I will say that the done with you agencies are what we are hearing are having the most success.
Excellent. Now I know that you said you don't talk to all your customers. Sometimes they just sign up and then they you don't hear from them. They just use it. But I'm just curious if because agencies often look for measurable results, right, from the tools that they like add on to their stack. What kind of like ROI or performance improvements have you users have you seen users like achieving by integrating HeyLevi into their SaaS offering?
We are currently working on case studies to showcase that. Again, the agencies that we've talked to, they are restructuring. Like one of them, I reached out to that he's had a lot of success with HeyLevi last year. He asked me to hold off until February this year because he's restructuring his offer using HeyLevi, and then he wants to kind of showcase that part in the case study. So yeah, sadly, I mean, I wish I could give you an actual number of this agency got this kind of result. We're still collecting that data and that information right now. So we've actually put it out there to all of our agencies that, we want to see all your numbers, good and bad, and we want to put them into case studies. So
Yeah.
we're gathering that right now. We will be publishing it on our blog site, on our website, as soon as we have them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, case studies are always helpful. Finally, what's next for HeyLevi? Are there any upcoming features or expansions that you're particularly excited about?
Yes, lots. So like I said, I think earlier on, HeyLevi was never intended to be a content app, right? It's kind of what it's turned into be because it was the easiest way to show the value of creating a strong brand, of creating like really well-positioned products and offers in your market. The easiest thing, the easiest output from all of that was content. And so we've kind of been categorized as a content app so far. But our users are going to see a lot of different things coming out this year, which are very in line with increasing sales, very specifically. So, not lead generation, not anything that is going to help you apart from content. Content is lead generation, traffic, all of that. But apart from the content, you're going to see a lot more sales driven features coming out in the app. So, like a quick example is, our product playbooks have very detailed, dialed in customer avatars. So, a lot of customer avatars I see are really about like demographics and pain points. And then your product is going to solve these pain points for them. That's kind of what it's limited to, at least the ones that I've seen. If you've ever seen a product playbook in HeyLevi and the customer avatars that get generated in there, they're like crazy. Like one of our customers said, this kind of drills down to the core of the earth. And really that's what it is, right? Like we are trying to write a page from their diary. I always like to say we are literally creating a page from their diary so you can get to know them on a much deeper level than just demographics and pain points or favorite things to do or hobbies or whatever the case may be. So with that, those custom avatars are already really, really powerful to help you structure your offers, audit your offers, create content. But something that we just released this morning is the ability to have a conversation with your customer avatar, which I'm super excited about. It's very addictive, I have to say.
Oh, cool.
The idea being that if you are structuring your offer, whether this is an existing offer, a brand new offer, an older offer that you're trying to revive, it's really, really handy once you have your customer avatar dialed in, which is super easy to do in HeyLevi. You can actually just call them. It's not a real call. It's obviously AI becoming that customer avatar. And it's you cold calling that customer avatar. So even if you don't do cold calling in your business, like we don't do cold calling, it's really key for us to be able to call each of our customer avatars and talk to them about HeyLevi because we are getting feedback that we have not even thought about.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy the kind of insights you can get in a minute or two just by having a conversation with your customer avatar. It's that easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on that front, typically the way you do it, if you want to test out and see what works and see what feedback people have, you could run a Facebook ad or things like that and learn from those, right? So this is actually a cost saving solution as long as it's dialed in well enough, right? I
Exactly.
assume it
Yeah.
will
And
be.
our customer avatars are really, really dialed in. Like HeyLevi, the whole reason it exists and it's so powerful is because of the customer avatars. So they're like really dialed in with their exact, phrases and what they're actually saying and their inner dialogue and what they think. And it's really a lot of like detail that goes into these.
Mm-hmm. And if you're like real perfectionist like me, maybe what I would do is I would do that first, have that conversation with the AI avatar and just jot down all the questions, and like that would give me an even better understanding about that market. And then go to actual real humans, real market, and talk to them. But now I've got all these back end insights, so I can talk their language even more and maybe dig out some more feedback from them. So then could be
100%. Yeah. You can dial in your offers to the T before you actually live launch it to
yeah.
actual humans.
I like it. Now branding. So I mean, so far everything. You mentioned you could do image generation, but I mean that's probably
Yeah.
more for the content side of things. But when it comes to
Yeah.
branding, there's also a really important aspect, which is visual identity. And right now, you could pay somebody on Fiverr if you want to do the cheap way, or you could hire a proper designer and have a really well designed logo. Um, do you have plans to release something like an automated logo generator?
We have that already. So the image generator will create a logo for you,
Okay.
um, which gets added to your brand playbook. So you do that like right there, or you can do it for clients in the image generator module. So there's two different ways to do it. In terms of it being aligned with your brand, It does take into consideration what you do and who you do it for, but it isn't. It's gonna be an abstract version of all of that. So it's pretty dialed in. But if you're looking for something very specific, like that you want your logo to be a specific color, you have to still ask it for that. It's not going to do that automatically. But yeah, it does it.
I'm thinking
Really well.
of maybe another way could be like a leverage point, right? There's a lot of graphic designers that might be they've already gone out of business or are just feeling the pressure of AI taking away their stuff. I'm thinking, there might be some really well-established branding agencies that just do brand specific like design, that maybe partnering up with them and having them as an upsell option or a cross referral, right? So they get a client, they do a logo for them, and then they can refer them to you for the brand guideline and everything else, and vice versa. If with HeyLevi, you could get a customer to create their own brand playbook and everything, and then say, hey, by the way, would you like us to generate custom bespoke logo on the back of your brand playbook that you've created?
Yes, absolutely. So for any branding agencies, I will say that there is still a lot of value for human branding experts, right? Who have been doing this for a long time and understand the story behind each logo. Like there's just so much that goes into it. It's not just slapping on a basic understanding of the business and onto a cute little graphic. So I will say that there's a lot to be said for an actual expert. Now, most logos for most businesses are going to be good enough. And for those people, simply using HeyLevi is gonna be great, right? But sometimes you really want to put a lot of attention into your logo, and again, it just depends on what niche you're in and what your brand really is about. And so, if you're a branding agency, there's a lot to be said for taking AI, whether that's HeyLevi or any tool, really. I want to say, creating a logo that reflects the brand's values as a starting point, and then doing your design work on top of that. It's the same thing for a copywriter, right? You know exactly how you want to write, but if you can have the AI emulate your brand personality or your writing personality and put that into a first draft, and then from there you can edit it as you want, there's a lot of power in being able to do that. So
I love
yeah,
it.
it can fit into many different kinds of pipelines.
Hey, Ruheene, so that's awesome. And so I think we have enough information for the guys listening. They are probably excited. Some of them might be excited to learn more how to sign up and maybe the pricing. Can you unpack it for us, and can you tell us, what if you have an offer for us, what to do? I mean, we have an offer. We know we have an offer, but
Yeah, so I mean, you can actually get started for completely free. Just sign up for a free account, create a free brand playbook. You can create your first brand personality. You can actually create multiple brand personalities in your account, create your first set of 30 days of social media content based on that brand. There's a lot that you can do for free. And when you're ready to upgrade, you'll want to make sure that you have, if you're a HighLevel agency, highly recommend that you sign up for the white label version instead. And then give it a try and show it to your customers and see how excited they get.
amazing.
So the special offer for any of those paid plans is X20, and that will give you 20% off your first month or year, depending on the plan that you choose.
Excellent. Okay, guys. So if you're ready to level up your marketing game, HeyLevi has got you covered. So for limited time, use the code X20 to get 20% of your first month on any plan. Whether you're creating brand playbooks or creating tailored content, HeyLevi is the ultimate tool for you to scale faster and shine brighter for your customers as well. So what you do is just head over to highlevelexperience.com/HeyLevi, where you can learn more about this deal and grab the deal today. All right, which brings us to the next part of this interview. I've got a couple of rapid fire questions related to HighLevel. Are you good to go ahead on that?
Sure. Okay.
All right. So, I mean, I assume you use HighLevel too, right? Or
Yes.
you
Yes.
do. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what about HighLevel originally grabbed your attention? Was there something specific or a problem were you trying to solve?
The all-in-one solution. I think we're all after that simplicity in our lives. So yeah.
Absolutely, no more duct taping. Is there any new HighLevel feature that you that is currently being that is already there that you're really excited about using?
I wish I could blow your mind with my answer, but no surprise that it's voice AI. I think that's just the easiest win. And right now, everyone's excited about that for a very good reason. It's a quick win. It's a really great way to, make your team more effective, make your own time more effective. It's really easy to get set up and going once you have the right prompt. And to that, by the way, we have a free tool out there called a Promptoneer. And check it out. It's HeyLevi.ai/Promptoneer. And you can create your free voice AI prompt from there. With little to no tweaking. You can test it right on the page itself to make sure that it's perfect, and then plug it into your GHL voice AI, and yeah,
I love it. And guys,
all done.
if you're brand new in this game of HighLevel has its natively integrated as voice AI natively integrated. So the ability, what Ruheene says is that like you can now just have that prompt generated a lot easier. So it's excellent. But if you want to know more about voice AI, we actually have episode 38 with Mohan, so you could check that out. And I think we've got a whole bunch of other guests related to voice AI as well. So any of that stuff, just head over to podcast.highlevelexperience.com and you can learn more about these episodes. Back to you, Ruheene. So feature that's there now. Okay, great. Voice AI. Is there any feature that is like being is going to be released in the near future and that you're really excited about, like on the HighLevel side?
I'm really excited to see where they take their AI employee. I mean, I know that about some of their plans, and they're going to be making it all of it one seamless AI employee, as the name suggests, for your business. And I think it's going to be really powerful when it all comes together.
Yeah, once they tied all the pieces together, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of an undertaking for this year, I'd say. If you could give one piece of advice to new HighLevel users to make their life easier when adopting and using HighLevel, what would that be?
It all comes down to niching down on the problem that you solve. So don't get overwhelmed with all the different things you can do in HighLevel. There's so much, and it's there for a reason, but it's not meant to be an all you can eat at once kind of buffet. You really want to pick and choose where to start, and that answer to that, where you want to start, can't come from anyone else, even if they're in the same niche and industry as you. You really want to ask yourself, what is the one problem that you can solve with or without HighLevel today, most effectively, and for who? And once you identify that, really niche down on the problem that you solve, figure out your customer avatar for that, and then figure out how can you make HighLevel, which part of HighLevel can you start with to make that one thing easier for you to do.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And I keep hearing this from a lot of guests as well. So it seems to be the best way. But if you're listening to this and you're kind of like, well, yeah, but I just want to offer it to like everything to everybody. Can I just do that? Yes, you can. And we actually have a case study of a successful SaaSpreneur that's doing this successfully. And that is episode number 22 with Charles Higgins. So he's actually doing that. Although you said he also has a separate plan, just social. But just so you guys don't have to feel like, oh, it's a one way or highway. No, there are ways that do work as well. But it seems like being it more dialed in, it's probably a better way. Ruheene,
I will
yeah,
say to that really quick, and I know Charles Higgins really well. I love working with him. And I'm obviously go with whatever Charles Higgins tells you. I'm assuming, and don't want to speak for him, but I know that a lot of his success comes with getting the right white label support, customer support, and onboarding team, which is what, if you do want to go that way of just offering everything to everybody, don't be that person that becomes a bottleneck, right, in that process. So
yeah, definitely look at getting a handled for you. There are great companies on the market. Extendly being one of them, does it really good. Good job.
Yep.
So yeah, check them out. By the way, they're a sponsor of this podcast, guys. So full disclosure. So if you want to learn more, just head over to highlevelexperience.com/sponsors.
Yep.
Ruheene, we have another segment. It's called The Beef. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so it's a segment called The Beef, where we discuss constructive feedback on HighLevel to improve the platform and get upvotes on the ideas board. Are there any challenges or frustrations that you faced with HighLevel that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I would love to see more thought put into the user experience when they release any feature. As we know, HighLevel has been really great with busting out features like that. But for the agencies and the users to be the ones to figure out which ones are broken and which ones aren't isn't a fun experience. And I think they realize that. Rowan himself told me that they are trying to fix that part of the pipeline. So I'm really looking forward to that process being a whole lot better. Their launch and release and their testing before something is released.
Yeah, excellent. Now, you probably haven't submitted it on the ideas board, have you?
To fix this? No, I just chat
Just,
with Varun
yeah,
whenever I
that's
see
all
him.
good. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah. But for those of you guys listening, if you do have, like, if you've submitted an idea on the ideas board, or if you brand new and you're asking what the heck is the ideas board, ideas board is a website. It's a directory of ideas from HighLevel. It's a transparency thing. It's a place where you can see what's coming up, what's on HighLevel's roadmap, and it's a place for you to basically voice out your opinions, your ideas, what you'd like, like 700 or HighLevel developers to add in. So, but there's so many things. So it's all done democratically, voting system. So it's ideas.gohighlevel.com.
And sorry, if you do know, if anyone listening knows of this request being on the ideas board, please do reach out to me, DM me. I will upvote it for sure.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, this you're stealing my thunder, Ruheene.
Sorry.
so, so yeah, guys. So if you do have an idea and you just want to get more upvotes, you have a simple way to have that promoted through this podcast. And the reason for that is that on the official HighLevel community on the Facebook group, you unfortunately cannot make a post to promote your ideas. They will take it down. It's against the policy, and it's purely to do with just sheer volume of, I guess, 90,000 members in that Facebook group. And if everybody started to post about their ideas, it just get buried. And and there are other more helpful ways to use the group for. So unfortunately, you can't promote your ideas through there. So that means you're kind of just relying purely on it to be discovered through the new ideas emails that HighLevel sends you. But now you have an opportunity to get it discovered through this podcast. So if you go to highlevelexperience.com / let me just find that link for you. And it's, the idea is pretty simple. It's the beef / the beef. On that page, you will be able to submit your beef. The rule is simple. You have to first go to the ideas.gohighlevel.com website, submit your suggestion, grab a link of that, go to highlevelexperience.com / the beef, and submit that to me as a voice recording. So it's just say, hey, Jimmy from XYZ agency, here is what I think, HighLevel should do, or what about yada yada. We will then slice it into one of the episodes so that the guys listening can learn about your suggestion. And if everybody likes it, and if they agree, whoever agrees can actually give you an upvote, because we will include the link directly to that upvote for you into the show notes. So that's the beef.
Very cool.
We also have a segment called 3 Under 3. And so it's where we like to, the whole idea is to inspire others. And I think we're already doing that by having this conversation. But it's supposed to be really short and snappy case studies of agency owners on what they've been able to do, how they've been able to impact a life of one of their customers. So 3 Under 3 is basically 3 stories, 1 minute each. So 3 stories under 3 minutes. And these stories kind of highlight how agency owners like yourself have made positive impact on clients' lives. Ruheene, did you have any a quick success story that you might want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm not allowed to share names, but more than happy to share the stories. We had an agency who was actually one of our very first clients when we were called iGen. And he was pretty new with his agency at the time too. And he signed up for HeyLevi. It was his foot in the door offer. And he was able to grow, not, a large part of it due to HeyLevi. He was able to grow to 100 SaaS customers within a year and open a second agency within a year or a year and a half. But yeah, very close with each other. So we were told that a lot of that came from the offer that he had with HeyLevi.
Wow.
So yeah, really exciting and really cool that we were able to get people on that stage and help in whatever way we can.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So do you want me to keep going or
No, I mean,
second story?
yeah. Keep going. It's all good. Yeah.
Going? I thought I was like under the gun to give you these stories really quick.
No, no.
Um, the second story, again, I have to be really careful because of the names, but there is a very popular agency that charges tens of thousands of dollars to help you create your brand narratives. I know you know what I'm talking about, but I can't say the name. And what they do is amazing. Complete props to them for coming up with the systems and the frameworks that they have. But this agency has actually come up with an amazing affiliate offer for HeyLevi, where he is now taking his white label HeyLevi, showing other agencies who are not yet in the high level space what they can do with it, and then showing them the power of signing up for their own high level with HeyLevi in it to promote to their customers. So a lot of folks in that community who already have really high paying clients, and those clients paying thousands of dollars for identifying their customer avatars and their customer's journey and that brand narrative, they're now able to do that much faster. And so he's starting to pick up speed really fast. So we will get a case study out for that one as soon as we're allowed to.
Yeah. Very powerful.
Definitely one that I'm excited about. Yeah. So those are the two that came to mind. Did you say three?
Well, I mean, I was happy with just one. You gave me two, so thanks for that.
Oh,
We, we,
sorry. I
we
thought you
typically
wanted
try
three.
and we typically try and slice in the other ones if we have submissions for the other slots. We don't have any for this episode, so we'll just go with the two. But guys, if you're listening and you get that good type of feeling when you can help somebody else in the community, now is your opportunity. You can submit your story. So we have made a simple path for you to do that. If you head over to highlevelexperience.com/your story, you can submit. Again, it's just a short voice. Actually, you can make a little video selfie, right? And just say, hey, again, you can keep it short and snappy, right? Under a minute. So we can like have it as a segment. So under a minute, name of your agency, who you help, what impact it had on their business and their lifestyle. Give it and name of your agency. You get a bit of a shout out, but more importantly, you get to inspire and show what's possible to other high levelers that may be newer in the community. And there's a good karma in that. So if you want to do that, again, highlevelexperience.com/your story. Ruheene, this brings us to almost to the end. I've got a couple of tricky questions.
Uh-oh.
We're all humans. No one is perfect. What are you not very good at?
I am not very good at delegating. I am a control freak. I try and do too many things, and then I find that I'm not being able to do them very effectively. And there is a place and a time for getting the right team together to do the things that you're not good at. So, yeah.
Well, but HeyLevi is now doing so well. So you must have got a team now, aren't you?
Yes, yes. We have a small team, very proud of it. We want to keep it small as long as possible and as much as possible. We're not, our goal is definitely not to grow in our company size, but it's to grow our impact without growing our company.
I love it. I love it. And look, I mean, managing people in delegation, I can definitely relate to that. It's not easy. And
Yeah.
I try and avoid it if I can.
I want everything done my way or it's the highway. No, but I'm learning.
It's a learning process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me something that's true that almost nobody agrees with you on.
I mean, I can think of a work thing. I'm trying to think of a more fun thing. I mean, I'll just tell you the work thing because I keep arguing with my team about this. I don't believe there's two things. So I don't believe in, and I think this came up before too. I don't believe in niching down on your customers necessarily. I think it's completely okay to serve a wide market depending on what you do. Again, it really comes down to the problem that you're solving. But this is something that we at HeyLevi, in our internal conversations, and me with my marketing manager, we're constantly arguing about this. But I very strongly believe that you can build a product for a very wide audience if that's what you want to do, as long as it's done correctly, which not a lot of people agree with me on.
Yeah, I'm very surprised, especially when we just covered stuff about product playbooks and avatars.
Yes, yes, yeah. So it's all about like, what is that one customer avatar that we really want to make this the best experience for? And I'm like, why? Why do we need one best customer avatar? We're helping businesses increase sales. There's a lot of different customer avatars that need that.
Right, but
So
do you mean that as a rule, like for HeyLevi as a rule, or is it as a general rule for any business?
for any business, it doesn't I think there's value in niching down to a customer, and I feel like there's value in niching up, if that's a word. But again, it comes down to the problem that you solve, right? Like in our case, the problem that we really solve is helping businesses make more money. It's helping businesses close more sales. So again, a lot of the features that come out this year, we know are going to completely shock and surprise existing HeyLevi users and people who aren't using HeyLevi right now. But the reason for that is that's the one problem that we solve. We help increase sales. We help solve the problem of low conversions. And so with that, the customer avatars that you get with that are huge. They're in like so many different industries, and
Yeah.
they're new to AI and advanced with AI, and they're new to their business and they're advanced and they've been around for a long time versus they're just starting out their business or agency. And so there are a lot of customer avatars that we solve problems for with this one need. And so I very firmly believe that if you identify the one problem that you solve the best in your market, like nobody else does, don't worry about whether you're niching down or up
Mm-hmm.
on the customers.
So I definitely agree with you on that because, as an overall problem, I think people can definitely relate to it or understand it and see a value in it. Also, I would argue that if you make it personalized to an avatar, or to a target, it's going to make it more relatable and your marketing, your conversion is going to go up.
That's why you learn to create separate offers and tiers and plans in our case for the different market segments that you serve. But does that mean you need to limit yourself to one? Absolutely not. Is it true that if you talk to everyone, you talk to no one? Yes. That's not what I'm saying no to, right? But again, it really comes down to understanding your market segments and how you are speaking to each of those market segments in your messaging. I'm not saying have a crossover there,
Yeah.
but don't limit yourself and your growth to one customer avatar if that's not warranted by the problem you solve. Maybe you solve a very specific problem for a very specific kind of customer avatar. Don't try and dilute your messaging by trying to tap into other markets when you do one thing really well for one type of person. But again, if you focus not on niching down or up, because I see this question come up all the time, especially on high level workshops that I attend, should we niche down? How do we find the right market? Again, focus obsessively on the problem that you solve and let that tell you whether you should niche up or down.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm glad that we've dived into that and clarify that because I was just worried, like when you said at the beginning, like I don't want to leave anybody confused at the end of it, like after listening to all this. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. What do you wish you had known when you started your HeyLevi journey, your SaaS journey?
I wish I had realized sooner that whether you're a big company or a small company, how much attention you pay to your customers is always the same. It always will dictate whether you have success or not. So we struggled in our early years because we were trying to come up with solutions without spending that time to really do a deep dive on our own customer avatars. And that's something that I wish I had learned to do sooner. So a lot of what we've talked about, really understanding, the problem that you solve, the customer avatar that you solve it for, how many customer avatars you really need, who these customers are on a very personal level. Like, do you understand them well enough to write a page from the diary? That is something that we've learned through trial and error. And with my background working for much larger agencies, I didn't immediately connect the dots. I always thought, well, those were big companies with really big budgets. Like I was paid really well at those places. When I'm trying to start my own business, I have a much smaller budget than those people did, and I can't hire the team that they had. And so I always thought that the approach needed to be different. What I found through trial and error is that the tools you use will be different, but it doesn't mean that the approach you take should be different, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So underlying principles are like work across. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, and I think with AI, we've really managed to democratize a lot of the bigger company, large budget, multi-million dollar budget approaches to marketing and sales for smaller businesses. So I think that's where we are living in a very exciting time.
Yeah. And what I just back to what you just said is what I like about this is that yes, technology keeps on moving. We have all these new cool shiny toys, but the underlying principles of marketing and sales are like timeless. They will always kind of work. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
where like even picking up an older book about marketing will still be like relevant today.
Exactly. Yep.
What would be your advice for the listeners of this podcast to walk away with after listening today?
Go sign up for a HeyLevi account. Figure out your customer avatars and what you do best.
And leverage. I love it. So once again, guys, if you want to learn more about HeyLevi, head over to highlevelexperience.com/HeyLevi. I have a shameless ask as well for those of you guys listening, maybe for you, Ruheene, as well. If you enjoyed the episodes on the podcast and what I do, and for those of you guys listening, I grow this podcast very pretty much organically, and obviously, and also through our sponsor networks and whatnot. But one of the ways that, in terms of how podcasting works and how the algorithm works, similar to local businesses, right? You want to get them more 5-star Google reviews so that on local search they come up. With podcast, you have podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those major platforms. One of the ways that they climb up is by getting more like reviews, right? So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, if you love this, if you love what I do and want to give it a shout out, if you could do this for me, if you could head over to highlevelexperience.com/review, and you could rate and review on your favorite app. You could I've got 3 buttons there, so you could review on Apple Podcasts, you could review on Spotify, and there's this third thing called Podchaser, which is a directory of guests and podcasts, a kind of like a community of people passionate about podcasts. They can learn about good podcasts there that way as well. In any case, if you guys would want to do that, I would be forever grateful.
Absolutely. I'm going to do that right away.
Thank you, Ruheene. And with that, we're at the end. So thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you sharing your time and sharing your wisdom with us today. We've talked a lot about branding. There's a lot of really good nuggets. And so I'm very excited to create a lot of cool reels from this.
Thank you so much for having me, Vid. I have to say, I love what you're doing with the podcast. I love the value that you're providing to the HighLevel community. It's super cool to see. So thank you for having me and for doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you guys for listening as well. Thank you. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then please share it with your fellow agency mates and other high levelers that you think would also benefit from listening. For show notes, links, and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. And one more thing, I never tend to talk about it much, but if you are new or already established, but looking at ways how you could have more scalable fulfillment on projects for your high level customers, one thing that I do as well, aside from my own SaaS company, is I provide these premium GHL snapshots that I've developed, and what's unique about them is I create them like modular. So there's 10 different modules, and each module is designed to be stacked on top of another, kind of like pieces of a puzzle. And what's cool thing about that is that, like what we know is true for most businesses is that every business needs some sort of a lead nurture, some sort of a lead capture, some sort of a reputation system, some sort of a referral system, all these different components that if you have them all, your business would be truly automated end to end in being able to generate leads, convert leads, turn them into customers, turn them into evangelists, and also have a system that like can automate retargeting. So, and whilst HighLevel has all these amazing features out of the box, not everything is automated out of the box, right? And so that's where these modules come in. It's basically each module is a pre-configured workflows, funnels, the whole enchilada. And so I've packaged them up, snapshot them out. I built them for my own SaaS, but I realized, there is probably a need for other agencies that I could help shortcut and solve. And so I offer that to other agencies. You guys can license it. You can just purchase per module and then use it for your own agency to fulfill on these projects. So if this sounds interesting, you can check it out. Just head over to my website, which is vitmuller.com. That's VITMULLER.com. And you can learn about the profit roadmap modules, about the system. And if you want, you can also pick my brain by booking a call with me. So just wanted to share that as well. I rarely do that, but I should probably share it more so you guys learn about this. Yeah. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.